was always in awe of how beautiful the country was, besides the freezing cold and constant snow. But Mom and Dad loved to travel. That's why before I turned 10, I had already been to 5 different countries. One time, when we were at the Met Museum in New York, I had the worst stomach pain. My stomach burned and I couldn't walk. Mom, Dad, it hurts. They rushed me to the hospital, and throughout the day, they tried to calm me because I was so scared. Honey, you're gonna be fine. Don't worry, we're here. She must be in so much pain. Look at how much she's sweating. My poor baby. And then it all went blank. When I woke up, I found Mom and Dad talking to the doctor. What the doctor said left me wishing I didn't hear it. I was diagnosed with Crohn's on my 14th birthday. Crohn's is when your bowels are inflamed and can cause severe stomachache and may also require surgery at times. My parents did everything they could to cheer me up, but I was angry at everything. Even though I knew they were struggling financially and were very stressed, I couldn't help it. I was rude to the nurses and even snapped at my parents. One day, however, I had snapped to the point that I threw a bowl of custard at the door right behind the nurse. That's so disgusting! Who eats food like that? Billy, that's no way to behave. They're trying to help you. I don't want anyone's help. None of you understand how much pain I'm in or what it's like to be stuck in here. It would be an understatement to say my parents were shocked at how much my behavior had changed. I hated everything about my life. I was away from my friends, stuck at the hospital eating tasteless food, and worst of all, my condition got worse. When I turned 15, I had to get a stoma temporarily, which is kind of gross, and you don't need to know the details, except that I had several questions for my doctor. Will it stink? Is it safe? It won't cause an infection, right? Honey, give the doctor a chance to answer. Because of the surgery, I had to stay in the hospital for a couple of months so I could be monitored. The pain was getting worse, and I hated being at the hospital at first. One day, I walked out of my room because I couldn't sleep. That's when I heard someone crying. I walked towards the sound and saw it was Mom, and Dad was trying to calm her down. I don't know how to help her. She's so upset here, and the bills will keep getting higher. What do we do? We will continue to be happy around her. She will be irritated, but if we stay happy, maybe she'll feel more hopeful. I felt like the biggest jerk. My parents were struggling, and I had no idea because they were trying so hard to make me happy, make me feel like a normal teenager. That was when I decided to repay the favor and make them feel better about everything. But the only way I could do that right now was to be happy, or pretend to be, even if I'm not. So, to make my parents feel better, I sucked it up and decided to stay happy. I read somewhere that having a positive mindset helps heal faster, and that is exactly what I did. I decorated my room with pictures of friends and family, every trip we went on, and so much more. Billy, I love what you've done with your room. It's so pretty, honey. Thank you so much. I was cut off by some guy yelling and a nurse crossing my room wiping her tears. The nurse told me that there was a new guy down the hall, and he was always angry. I knew how he felt, and I realized what a horrible person I had been to my nurses before. I knew just how to fix his mood. I wanted to do something for him, to get him to smile, but he wouldn't leave his room. All he did was yell at everyone who spoke to him. I had had enough. So one day, when he was taken out by the nurse to run some tests, finally I had my chance. So I rushed into his room to prepare my surprise. I decorated it just like mine. I think better than that, because by the time I was done, it looked like a unicorn threw up a rainbow in there. And wow, when he saw the room, the expression on his face was priceless. You, what have you done? Oh shoot. I ran away from him, but to my horror, he was running after me too. He only stopped when I did, and he began yelling at me and telling me how irritated he was. But you've got to admit, this is probably the most fun you've had in the past couple of days. You're very annoying. Stay out of my room. I hate hospitals. Rude? Since that day, I steered clear of the guy, whose name I learned was Steel. Silly name. And he seems to get bent out of shape much easier than his name suggests. He stayed away from me too. And every time he saw me, he would glare and walk the opposite way. One day, one of the nurses came to check up on me. She told me how bad she felt for Steele. Why would you feel bad for him? He's so rude. Oh, sweetie, who wouldn't be? It was his birthday last week. He was so excited to see his friends, but none of them showed up, even after they promised him. And his parents had to work. Poor guy. Oh, shoot. Now even I felt bad for him. My parents helped me get him a cake. I didn't want to go to his room after he asked me not to, so I asked a nurse to bring it with a note. Happy birthday, jerk boy, from the sick girl down the hall. 5 minutes later, I saw someone's shadow under my door, walking up and down the hallway. And then I heard a knock.
Hey, sick girl. What do you do when you can't sleep?
Wow. Took you 6 rounds up and down the hallway to ask me that? Just stare at the stars, I guess. He just rolled his eyes at me. I brushed past him and dragged him with me to my favorite spot. We went to the courtyard and sat on the bench looking at the stars.
I'm sorry. It's just that I hate missing out on everything. Why do I have to be sick? Why can't I just have a life like every other kid my age? It's just not fair.
I was like that too at the beginning. But then I realized how much my parents continue to do for me, and what I'm trying to say is, you shouldn't just pay attention to what you don't have. I mean, look, you got to meet an amazing person like me right here. You really couldn't have asked for anything better.
How are you this positive? How do you distract yourself from all this pain and stuff?
If you wait to be happy until everything is fine, you'll waste your whole life. So, I gave myself a purpose, a mission.
What mission?
I haven't told anyone before.
Oh, well, you don't have to tell me.
No, it's okay. I need motivation to work harder on it. So here goes. I'm starting a foundation dedicated to help parents of kids who are sick, so they don't have to worry about bills.
Wow, that's actually pretty amazing. I can help if you want, and would love to join for real once it's up and running.
Yes, I need all the help I can get. Pretty soon, the both of us began hanging out often and working on plans and ideas for the foundation. I would spend all day in his room and he would at mine. We even introduced our parents to each other. It was nice to finally have someone close to my age to talk to, who understands exactly what it's like to have a condition. One evening, a couple of weeks after my stoma surgery, Steele came up to my room.
Want a change of view?
What did you have in mind? I followed Steele out, and he helped me walk by holding onto my hand and my waist. My face was turning red as a beet, and my heart was hammering in my chest. Was this what a crush felt like? He led me to the cafeteria, and my jaw dropped. He had set up a beautiful candlelight dinner. Whoa, Steele, I didn't know you were such a sap. Why?
All you do is work to help other people. You deserve something just for you.
Thank you. This is so beautiful. He led me to the table and it was all set up. The food was still steaming. Steele even pulled out the chair for me to sit first. What a gentleman.
You know, even before I was sick, I wasn't very nice. I was rude, angry, and took everything for granted. And then I met you. I didn't know anyone could be so fun and positive while things aren't going the way they want. As much as I hate the hospital, I'm glad I'm here.
It was so sweet, but then he leaned in to kiss me. I put my hands against his chest. Steele, we can't kiss. You could get sick. The look on his face broke my heart. So I held his hand in mine instead, and he smiled. The next day, I woke up with the biggest smile. Yesterday was like a dream come true, a fairy tale. Just then, the doctor and my parents walked in to talk to me.
Honey, guess what? You get to go home, finally!
What?
You're all good now. You'll just have to come for a checkup in a few months, but other than that, you're fine. You can leave here today. Isn't that great, sweetheart?
It is. It's amazing. While Mom and Dad were taking care of all the last-minute paperwork, I walked over to Steele's room. He gave me the tightest hug as soon as he saw me. Steele, I have some news. I'm being discharged today. I leave in a couple of hours.
That's great news, Billy. Why aren't you excited about it?
Because once I leave, I won't be able to visit you. I'll be moving back to Canada.
Oh, is there no way you could visit?
I don't think so. I can try though. But Steele, is it fine if I just leave like that?
Hey, no. You don't have to ask me. I'll be completely fine. I'm just so happy you're finally getting out of the hospital, completely healthy. And I promise you,